up? This is Evolving Cherry, and I'm going to talk about the differences from dating a white man versus a black man. Maybe just from my perspective, because apparently I really don't know the differences. Everybody is different in their own way. Somebody may be trash, somebody might be good, who knows? But from my experience, that's all I'm going to talk about because one of my friends wanted me to talk about this topic, and I'm just going to say it from my perspective. Everybody's had different experiences with certain races, and if you want to explain your experience, then feel free to comment below. Anyways, let's get this started. All right, so I'm going to talk about my two experiences with black men as far as dating, okay? And then I'll talk about two experience from white men that I was dating. Now, with the black men, the first one I'm going to talk about, he was a 40-year-old real estate agent, and I was pretty much being nice. I was like, you know what? I never bought anybody any food before or like paid for a date before, so this was my first time paying for a date. Mind you, I was like in my early 20s. I was thinking about maybe 23, 24, around that age. And we went to a nice restaurant in Victoria Gardens, which you guys can look up what Victoria Gardens is. I'm not going to say the locations of these places too much. Anyway, we went to a nice place. They had barbecue. We ordered barbecue, and he had like a half, I think it was like a half of a chicken, barbecue chicken or something like that, and some mashed potatoes and other things. And I had ribs and like a miniature steak and something else. So I wanted to try his chicken. It looked really good. So I was like, hey, can I try a piece of your chicken? And he was like, no. And I'm like, are you serious? Of course he knows I'm buying the food, right? Because I volunteered to pay for it. So I thought, okay, maybe I can have a little bit of his chicken, right? So I asked him again, and he said no. And so I reached over, and he scooted his plate. That was terrible. It was terrible. What I was thinking in my head, I'm like, are you serious? I am not paying for a date ever again from that experience. Now I know that everybody's not that shallow, but later on in that date, he wanted to go to the park, which was not too far from my house, and he wanted to obviously make out, have sex, stuff like that. I'm like, nope, take me home. Take me home. I'm done with this. And that was that. That was the end of it. I didn't want to talk to him anymore. Of course, he tried calling me and stuff like that. And nope. Bad experience. The other experience, I went to Ontario Mills, which is, I'll just say in Ontario, California. And it's a pretty big mall, inside mall versus Victoria Gardens, which is an outside mall. And we were walking around the mall. This was a different person, a football coach in high school football coach. So I was asking him questions. We were walking around the mall and stuff like that. And he was just like, okay, okay. And I'm like, this was a yes or no question. Why are you not answering it? Are you even paying attention to me? That's what I was thinking. I'm like, are you even paying attention to me? So we finally got back to his car, and he was asking me if I wanted something to eat. And I'm like, oh, maybe we can finally go to a restaurant or something like that. So I asked him, I'm like, are we going to a restaurant or are we going to a fast food joint? He's like, fast food. And he told me to choose. So I'm like, oh, really? He's going to take me to a fast food joint. Oh, thanks. So at least I get to choose. I chose Sonic. I was like, let's go to Sonic. And for people that ate at Sonic before, you know that their food is kind of on the expensive side, depending on what you think expensive is. But in my opinion, at the time, I was like, you know what? This is more expensive than McDonald's or any other place, which, by the way, I don't eat McDonald's. But it's more expensive than other places around. So we got there and my order was like $9.68, which it was not that bad at all. Good majority of combos and stuff like that are nearly over $10 these days. So before we got up there to the window, he was like, hey, do you have any money on you? And I'm like, no, I do not. So he got all nervous and stuff, went up to the window, and I noticed that he only had $6.68. He didn't have $9.68 on him. So he had to go to the bank. Luckily, he had money in the bank because I was concerned. I was like, wow, am I not going to get any food either on top of all that? So, the first time that we were supposed to go on a date, he got lost. I should have known. If he got lost around where I lived and couldn't find his way around, I should have left it at that. I'm like, you know what? Obviously something is wrong with you. There's GPS, there's other things. How the heck can you get lost? I should have known. I should have freaking known. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. Okay, so the two white people, I said white people, two white men that I dated. First one is my on again, off again ex. I don't want it to sound crazy or anything, for the past like 12 years, but I didn't date him for that long. It's just like the first 2 years we dated, then there was a long period of time we did not date, and then there was that last, like second to last year that we did date, and I broke things off. He was a gentleman, the best guy around, literally. He really cared about everything. Where I wanted to go, if I wanted like a little gift, if I wanted, he surprised me with a lot of things. And we used to go a lot of places, even when he did not have a car. I was so spoiled that I remember when he told me that we were going to Knott's Berry Farm, I'm like, no, I want to go to Disneyland. Forget Knott's Berry Farm. When I should have just been happy about going to an amusement park, because all in all, it was really fun. Even though we were kind of both really big at the time, and us trying to fit in the same row in a roller coaster was a little bit of a struggle, but at the same time, we had a lot of fun. The second person, he was actually half blind. He's an amazing guy, and even though he couldn't afford anything, he was just like, I feel really bad. I feel really bad for not paying for things. I don't want our relationship to be like this. And that was an eye-opener to me. I was like, wow, he really does care, and he genuinely wants to be able to buy things for me, even though he is half blind and he can't really see too many things except silhouettes and certain shapes if he's really close to an object. So, I mean, what did I exactly expect him to do financially? I wasn't expecting anything from him. I just wanted to be in his presence. I felt like he was a great person to be around. And this was like a total 360 from like maybe a 180. Total 180 from what I've dealt with as far as like dating black men, or the two examples that I used. There's differences within all races, though. There is differences within all races. So I can't say that black men are terrible or white men are great or vice versa, because I just go by my own experience. So now, for everybody that is watching these videos, you can comment on your experiences with black men, black women, white men, white women, or even other races. Like, how did they treat you on dates versus maybe even another different type of race? I don't like really talking about races too much, but I did have another video related to Jennifer Lopez and the Grammys recently. Anyways, just go check out my videos. Go check them out. There's plenty of videos for you to watch. like, subscribe, follow, depending if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, of course. Just keep watching. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Peace. Oh, peace.